So we were discussing the short-run cost curve. Now we are going to check the long-run costs. So actually, the difference or the connection between the short-run cost and long-run cost is that if the forecasting is not perfect, or if you are not correctly forecasting the market demand, then there might be a problem of your commitment, because if you are not forecasting that what kind of production level you need in the long run, then there might be a problem that you will not fulfill your commitment, and you might lose your customer in that time. So in the long run, all inputs are variable and all costs are variable. We have already decided what is the difference between short run and the long run. So in the long run, all inputs are considered as variable and all costs are considered as variable. Whereas in the short run, we consider that at least one factor of production must be fixed. So what is the production function? So actually the production function shows the behavior of long run costs. It depends upon the firm's production function, which is the relationship between the maximum output attainable and the quantities of both capital and labor. So the production function determines your output level by it's a kind of connection between relationship between the inputs and output. So what is the diminishing marginal product of capital? So the marginal product of capital is the increase in output resulting from a 1 unit increase in the amount of capital employed, holding other thing constant or holding constant the amount of labor employed. So if you just want to know the marginal product of capital is similar to the marginal product of labor. So they both have the diminishing effect, or the law of diminishing marginal returns applies to both of the marginal product of capital and marginal product of labor. So if you just need to know the what is the marginal product of capital, so you just need to check the change in total output with the change in the level of capital, or with the change of one unit of capital. So the firm's production exhibit diminishing marginal return to labor for a given plant size, as well as diminishing marginal return to capital for a quantity of labor. For each plant size, diminishing marginal product of labor creates a set of short-run U-shaped cost curves for marginal cost, average cost, and average total cost. So what is the short run and long run cost here? So the average cost of producing a given output varies and depends on the firm's plant size. So larger the plant size, the greater is the output at which average total cost is at minimum. For example, if Cindy has four different plant sizes, 1 to 3 or 4 knitting machines, so each plant size has short run average total cost curve. So the firm can compare the average total costs for each given output at different plant size. Here, if the average total cost 1 is the average total cost 1 comes from the first plant size, then the average total cost 2 comes from the second plant size. Here the average total cost curve 3 shows the average total cost of plant size number 3, and the average total cost 4 is the average total cost from the plant size 4. So you can see here, so the different level of average total cost. At the level of 13, output level is 13 here, but the average total cost of plant size 1 is $7.69. Average total cost for the plant size 2 is 6.80 US dollar. Average total cost for the plant size 3 is $7.69, and the average total cost for the plant size 4 is 9.50 US dollar. So how you can compare the average total cost for two different machines? Here you see the average total cost curve for plant 2 knitting machine, then average total cost for plant 3 knitting machine, and the average total cost for the plant 4 knitting machines. And then You see the long run average total cost curve made up from the lowest average total cost for each output level. So we want to decide which plant has the lowest cost for producing each output level. Let's find the least cost way of producing a given output level. Suppose that Cindy wants to produce 30 sweaters a day, and these are the four different average total cost she has. So the 30 sweaters a day cost $7.69 each on average total cost curve 1 here, $7.69 average total cost 1, this one. So the blue line you can see it is $7.69. 30 sweaters a day cost $6.80 on average total cost 2 curve. This green line you should see here. So it is $6.80, and the average total cost of the third plant is $7.69. Here this is $7.69, and the average total cost curve 4 is 9.50 US dollar. So the least cost way of producing 30 sweater a day is average total cost curve 2. So she can use the second plant to bear the minimum average cost. So how we can drive the long run average cost curve? It is the relationship between the lowest attainable average total cost and output when both the plant size and labor are varied. So the long run average cost curve is the planning curve that tests the from the plant size that minimizes the cost of producing for a given output range. Once the firm has chosen that plant size, it incurs the costs that correspond to the average total cost curve for that plant. Here we have the similar example. So how we can drive the long run average cost curve from the short run average cost curve. So this is how. So the least cost plant, this one, then least cost plant 2, then the least cost plant 3, and the least cost plant is 4. So this is how we drive the long run average cost curve. So what are the economies and diseconomies of scale? So economies of scale are features of a firm's technology that leads to falling long run average cost as output increases. So when you increase the your plant or technology, because of your higher technology, you may bear the least cost in the long run average cost if you increase the your level of production. So diseconomies of scale are a feature of firm's technology that leads to rising long run average costs as output increases. And the constant return to scale of features from technology that leads to constant long run average cost as output increases. So we have three states here. So the first one is economies of scale. If the firm's technology allows the firm in the long run average cost is falling if you increase the output level, so we can say that this firm has economies of scale. It means producing larger amount will give them lower average cost. So they will have economies of scale. If you see the vice versa, if producing if the output production, if you increase the production with the your average cost is rising, it means you are falling in the trap of diseconomies of scale. So it means large production is not feasible for your firm because your average cost is increasing. So the third one is constant return to scale. It is a feature that your production function shows that if you increase all the inputs over the same proportion, your output will be increased by the same proportion. If you increase the inputs by 10%, then your output will automatically be increased by 10%. That is why we are saying that this is the constant return to scale. So here we can see here this is the phase of economies of scale because the long run average cost is declining. Then The second phase is diseconomies of scale, because after that point, after this minimum point, the long run average cost is increasing. So the firm is going into the phase of diseconomies of scale. So what is the minimum efficient scale? If firm experiences economies of scale up to some output level, then beyond that output level, it moves into constant entry scale or diseconomies of scale. So minimum efficient scale is the smallest quantity of output at which the long run average cost reaches its lowest level. So we can say that is our minimum efficient scale. If the long run average cost curve is U-shaped, the minimum point identifies the minimum efficient scale output level. Thank you so much.